everyone, I'm Helen. Before we start learning how to write Chinese characters, let me tell you a secret. Actually, you don't need to write them anymore. These days, even native Chinese people like me hardly using a pen and a paper to write Chinese. Most of the time, we type on our phones or computers. That means to you, learning Chinese actually has become much easier than you have imagined. When you type in Chinese, actually you don't need a special keyboard. All Chinese almost when they type on computer or a phone, we use the pinyin, the system that use exactly the same 26 letters as English. So you just need to know how each word sounds like, and then you type the pinyin out and you choose the right character that with the same pinyin from the list. That's it. That means you don't need to memorize stroke orders. I know there are many Chinese teachers told you that you need to learn strokes in order. However, you just need to recognize characters as if there are pictures and being able to differentiate different pictures with their different meaning. Just like recognizing a logo like Tesla, then you can just try to remember different Chinese characters as you how to differentiate different car logos or luxury brand logos. And when you type out the pronunciation, you know which one to choose from to express your own meaning, right? For example, there are many characters in Chinese are related to the movement like either walk or run. Once you notice the patterns, it would be so easier for you to differentiate activity that's related to food radical. Once you know different radical carries a specific meaning, it would be so much easier for you to tell different characters apart, even when they sound similar. It's like when you go to the art museum, you're able to tell which artwork is from Van Gogh and which are from Da Vinci, right? It's because the style they use is different. So it is in Chinese characters. So as long as you keep learning with me, I'll show you the unique techniques that helps you read and type Chinese like a local in just 3 months. Now let's talk about something many learners don't realize. Speaking Chinese is not the same as writing Chinese. If you rely on AI tools such as ChatGPT or Gemini to learn how to speak, you might sound a little bit strange to local. That's because most of the AI training data comes from books and articles and other written materials. That's written Chinese, not spoken Chinese. But real spoken Mandarin is very flexible, emotional, and full of subtle meanings. On the surface level, when a local speaks the sentence, it can mean one thing. However, it can has a hidden layer of meaning. As a foreigner, it would be difficult for you to really grasp what their hidden meaning they are trying to express. Of course, if you are just want to travel in China, then you don't need to get into the deeper part of the hidden meaning and Chinese culture. However, if you have day-to-day business or activity dealing with Chinese people, Chinese colleague, or Chinese boss, then you must have to know their communication style. They are communicating with you in English. However, they might carry their specific Chinese mindset over there. So I'm going to introduce you step by step in how typical Chinese would communicate and what are the subtle meanings when they say yes but actually means no, and there are situations when they say no, they actually mean yes. Okay, now let's go back to the Chinese grammar structure. In Chinese grammar structure, the word order can shift and grammar is much looser and simpler compared to English. And there are many phrases that only local use naturally in the spoken Chinese, and it never appear in the textbooks. So to sound natural, you need a real local person like me, Helen, to explain how people actually talk in daily life and to help you practice those words in the context and in the situation until your brain feels comfortable using them. How native speakers learn Chinese. When Chinese kids start learning, we begin with pinyin and then we learn characters together with vocabulary. We don't memorize the single characters alone. We always learn it with a group. For example, the word 雨 means raining. We don't just learn rain. We also learn phrases like 下雨 to rain, 雨天 raining day, 雨伞 umbrella. All these characters are related to the root meaning 雨 rain. By seeing how one character combined with others, we will remember it faster and understand it deeper, because when the rain comes into your mind, there is a cluster of vocabulary lists that also showed up in your brain. When you speak one vocabulary out of this cluster of vocabulary list, your brain is being re-emphasized on that cluster. So in this way, it would be much more efficient for you to learn Chinese vocabulary and to memorize it. Day-to-day practice, you don't need to put much dedicated hours into repeating it in boring ways. When you naturally use it to express the meaning, your brain is already reconstructed how the word is meaning in the clusters. For example, when you type 雨 in Pinyin, you would see several characters that sound the same, but you will know which one to choose because you've already seen it appear with its friends' vocabulary list. It's like ordering a burger in McDonald's. You don't only order a burger alone, it always comes with fries and a drink. So Chinese characters love to show up with their favorite companions too, and you don't need to feel overwhelmed by thousands of the characters. You just need to stick with me and we're going to master them in the fastest way. Now, how are we going to learn together? In this course, we first will learn the most common combinations and use of characters. They will show up not as single character but as a cluster or as the main character attached to different combinations of it. Then we will expand to the new words, phrases, and real-time examples to help you to know how to use different words in their correct situations. And don't worry, Chinese grammar is much more flexible than you actually think. Even if you mix up with the word order, people can still understand you. What matters most is using the right word in the right situation. Because in Chinese, some words sound fine in one context, but it can feel rude or awkward in another. For example, 豆腐 is a food that's made from the beans. When you use it as I'm a vegetarian, I only eat 豆腐。我是吃素的，我只吃豆腐。In this way, it sounds normal. It does not sound offensive. However, in your dating session, I like eating 豆腐. Which would sound very rude and offensive to the other gender, because here the 豆腐 has another meaning. It means you like to sexually harass another person. Don't worry about that. I will teach you all these cultural and emotional layers related to certain vocabularies so you can truly connect with Chinese speakers naturally, warmly, and confidently. Alright, are you ready? Now let's start learning Chinese the easy, natural, and local way. Always remember to subscribe my channel and go to the description box where you're gonna have all the free resources to help you master in Chinese. Okay, we will see you next time. Bye bye.